There's a lot happened. I want to get into details.
We went to Italy. Little did I know there was something else brewing.
But the summer has been incredible. Why is that incredible? One of the things that I had to sacrifice for the podcast was I had to completely give up. If you want to do a lot than the average, then you have to be able to sacrifice certain things.
When you're actually in a dark room, it's scientifically proven. I'm really proud of you actually for not...
Say you want to get more money. In order for you to get more money in your job, you need to...
What is energy?
Right, okay. How are you?
I'm good.
I've been wanting to sit down with you for a while and go through a few things, and we haven't filmed for a while either. So it's been about a few months, I'd say. And there's a lot happened, and I'd like to talk. I want to get into details with that. So, where do we start? What have you been up to?
Wow, quite a lot actually.
Yeah.
Well, we thought we'd do a little podcast before we go on holiday. We went to Italy.
Yeah.
To see your family.
Yeah. See my family. But yeah.
Little did I know there was something else brewing. Yeah.
Busy summer, I'd say.
Yeah.
Quite busy. And I've had lots of things going on from the company front, and we've been working on a lot of things with a couple of teams involved. And so, to be honest, I didn't have time to film either. So no agenda, no nothing. But the summer has been incredible. Why is that incredible?
I got engaged. Yeah. So, oh my God, I can't believe it.
You gonna start or shall I start? I mean, let's talk about it.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I had no. First of all, it's a beautiful ring. Thank you so much. And the fact that it's a Sri Lankan sapphire, I love that because I actually didn't like the idea of having just a normal white ring. So having a blue sapphire, it just means a lot. And because it's from our heritage, it's like it adds value to it. And I feel like I can pass it down to our children. But I'm still in shock, actually. I can't believe that I'm engaged to you. Obviously, going to Italy, I thought we're just going on a summer vacation to Italy to see your family. Yeah. And then, lo and behold, yeah, I can't believe it.
Yeah.
I'm still really, you know what, to be honest, I've been telling my colleagues at work and like people that you're my fiance, and I'm just still trying to get that word, get used to that word saying you're my fiance. Yeah. But yeah, it was a beautiful proposal. You did an absolutely amazing job.
I think all the credits should go to my cousins. And to be honest, without my cousins, I wouldn't have been able to pull this off. So we've been planning this for quite some time, and I think I'd say about a couple of months at least, or 3 months, I'd say. And
3 months, really?
Yeah, roughly around that. Like basically, I think we had a few calls between us and Zoom calls to really figure it out what we're gonna do and how we're gonna do it, and then we came up with a plan.
Aww.
And shout out to my cousin Ivan, Sahan, and Nirasha, who've helped us really pull it off. And I mean, this whole time, us flying to Italy, and from there and going to Ancona, Sirolo is the place that we picked. And I think it was quite difficult at first because we had to keep this a secret as well, make it as surprising as possible. So it wasn't easy at all. So essentially, me and Ivan sat down on a call, and we went around. We got a Google map, went around whole of Italy, and trying to find a perfect beach. And it was incredibly difficult because it's like Italy's got beautiful beaches, and the prettiest beaches are usually at the southern Italy, like the down south, right? And then we it had to be convenient as well. They are based in Bologna, and it has to be somewhere around at least 3-4 hours distance, like in the radius of that. So what we did was like we got the Google map, we found a place, and there's a place called Ancona. It's on the Adriatic Sea front, and there's a beautiful beach called Sirolo. It was so beautiful. We saw it in 3D on Google Map. We thought like, this is it. And we came up with a idea that we'll do it more of a picnic style. And Ivan and Sahan and Nirasha, they all had like lots of good ideas in terms of that.
I mean, they did an absolutely amazing job.
Yeah.
Can I just say that? Like,
Yeah.
I can't believe, well, Nirasha especially did the whole like design of the heart and the candles. It just, it's so stunning. Shall we watch it?
Yeah, let's watch it.
It was quite long for you, wasn't it? To get to the place. Like, you know, deep down, I sensed that something was going on. I'm not going to lie, but I didn't expect an engagement. I thought, I don't know what I was expecting, but you were just like so on like job that day to get the perfect photo and you know, but honestly, you did such a good job. You guys all did such an amazing job. I know it's always so stressful, you know, this whole, you know, and also I feel that society has put so much pressure on men to get a proper proposal and the perfect picture, and for you to kind of pull it off, you know, I really do appreciate it, and like, thank you so much.
It was quite difficult, but I had help. I mean, obviously most of the logistic part of it was done by Ivan, Sahan and Nirasha, and like I said, we then ordered some Amazon stuff before we go there, and then by the time we got it, and they all packed that into a suitcase so that it would be concealed. So, I mean, you wouldn't see it. And then the next day, so we landed in Bologna. Next day, we got into the car and we drove all the way to Sirolo that day. And we had a hotel there picked out, and we went straight to the beach, actually. You were thinking that we were going to enjoy the beach, and you guys went into the beach as well. And I said, then I had to go look around for places for parking, and you know, overnight we're going to be staying till quite late, and that whole planning was it was incredibly difficult because we've never been to Sirolo before, and none of my cousins have been either. So I had to make it a surprise. So what I did was I said, we've got a reservation, we need to dress nice, we need to have a nice Italian kind of beach experience. So then you didn't have the clothes at that point. We dropped it all at the hotel. And
you
I
deliberately did that.
Yeah, that was deliberate.
Though,
yeah, absolutely deliberate. Yeah.
You deliberately made us go back to the hotel, which was about 45-minute drive or half an hour drive.
Half an hour, yeah.
And then half an hour back. So that gives your cousins an hour to set up everything on the beach. And that's perfect time as the sun was going down, because everybody left the beach, and that's one of the most popular beaches in that part of Italy, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So it was crowded in the morning, but then as soon as we got there at night, there was no one. So it was quite beautiful, actually. We were just walking on this kind of
privacy there.
White, sandy, stony beach, and then there's that heart-shaped candles in the distance, and honestly, oh my God, I think emotions just came like over me. I was just like, I just started crying.
You cry like Kardashian. Actually, I put together a video. Let me show you quickly. And I can see our family now, our podcast family as well.
Oh, you made a video?
Yep. You ready? Yeah, we're coming back from the hotel.
Oh, that's when I start crying.
That was right. the Sirolo town, and you can see. Yeah. To be honest, the beach looks exactly that. It's not even saturated.
Yeah.
It is beautiful.
Real.
Yeah. I look at that beach.
I can't believe Italy is so beautiful like this.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean,
it's
the
got-
best beaches are, towards further down south. Starting from there, yeah. Incredible.
Oh,
It's
that was
beautiful.
such a nice experience.
Yeah.
Ah,
Well,
take me back.
yeah.
No, it was very beautiful. You
Yeah.
guys did such a good job.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, like I said, the credit goes to Ivan, Sahan, and Nirasha on that. To be honest, they did a fantastic job. Like, I couldn't believe it when I saw it. I was like, because I didn't see it either, because I had no idea what we were gonna do.
Did you send them pictures?
No, we had
wanted?
like a couple of pictures. Like, I knew the theme. Like, we were gonna do more like a picnic style theme, and I mean, this was like way beyond.
Yeah, this is beyond a picnic.
Yeah,
it's more like.
So that kind of like exceeded my expectation on that. And when I saw it, I was like, damn, because I saw it for the first time as you were seeing it, and but I was taken aback by that as well. To be honest, I was like, wow, it was so surreal, and it was in Sirolo, and that beach is going to be very significant in our lives. And
were you nervous? Were you nervous when you were? When you said, I genuinely thought you were going to say a whole speech, because knowing you always say something, but you just said, will you marry me? And then I genuinely thought you would say a speech.
Yeah.
But were you nervous?
Bear in mind.
Because I was crying my eyes out, so I had no idea.
I was nervous, and I wanted everything to come together perfectly as well. So I had that added pressure. We landed the day before. It was not too bad, but obviously we flew from Stansted, and that was a bit of a nightmare. So I was a little bit tired at that point. And then the next day, we couldn't sleep much. We landed in Bologna, went to my uncle's place. From there, the next day, we got into the car, packed our bags. We went to Ancona, Sirolo. So I was tired mainly, but then again, I was quite stressed as well, because I wanted everything to come together perfectly. So it was that little added pressure. But yeah, I mean, to be honest, being back, my schedule has been insane, I think, because I had to catch up to a lot of work, and there's been lots of work piled up. And even the podcast, I had to create this studio. We had a different studio, so I had to create this, and that kind of piled up on the back end. This year, one of the things that I did that I had to sacrifice for content creation and for the podcast was I had to completely give up alcohol. So that was a major key lifestyle change in my life. When you have a drink the next day, you don't feel like yourself like as much, right? So
you don't feel
tired.
aligned.
Yeah. From that to really, I think I've slowly stopped using too much sugar to help me sleep better. And obviously, during the day as well, I've got a lot to work. I roughly work about 12 hours a day. So so I need energy as much as I can get. So those are the little things that I had to really tweak and get 7.5 hours sleep every day. And, otherwise you can't do a lot of work. Yes, you can barely survive. But if you want to do a lot than the average, then you have to be able to sacrifice certain things. So alcohol being one of them, and obviously sleep being one of them, sugar being one of them. So I'm not using any sugar at all, even in my coffee or tea. I've got sugar alternative called Sirolo, which has been really insanely supportive for me. So that brings me to talking about sugar. Obviously, one of the things that I've been really wanting to talk to you about is the glucose impact on human body. Before we get to glucose, to begin with, routine that we were talking about. So one of the things that I've noticed giving up alcohol was that I am cognitively performing 100%. I think, I'm able to read, I'm able to articulate well, I'm able to function well. And I think giving up alcohol is one of the best decisions I've ever made. Also, giving up sugar has actually helped me a lot, because what used to happen was when I have too much sugar, it affects my sleeping routine. So my REM sleep, essentially. So basically, when you rest, when you sleep, your body goes into this deep sleep,
Yeah.
that's essentially what called the rapid eye movement, where your eyes go back. That's when you go into that deep state of sleep. And what alcohol, sugar does is that interrupts that cycle of you having a deep, relaxing sleep. So when the REM sleep is disturbed, it affects your circadian rhythm, which is, again, quite important. So these little tweaks in our lives where we're having 7.5 hours sleep, at least 7 hours sleep a day, and getting enough sleep is highly important to maintain the energy level in your body. Okay, a question for you.
Yeah.
Okay, before I go deep into it, a question for you. What do you think a good sleeping arrangement would be?
So I think, first of all, having no dark room is really imperative for a good sleep, because what happens is when you're actually in a dark room, it's scientifically proven that you produce a hormone called melatonin. That hormone helps with a deep sleep. It helps with REM sleep. If you have a slight light or bed light in your room, it can actually stop you from producing more melatonin, so that can really affect you. Also, I've noticed that when I go to bed, I do this thing where I feel like I haven't had enough time in the day, and so I go on my phone, I'll go on TikTok or Instagram, and I'll be scrolling on TikTok for about an hour or 2 hours before I know it, And I actually researched into that, and there's actually something called revenge bedtime procrastination. It's actually a thing where a lot of people just refuse to go to bed, but what that does, it has a severe effect on your day-to-day life because you lack sleep, and it's just a vicious cycle. So it's really important to try and be disciplined and get about 8-9 hours sleep a day. Also, like you said, having no alcohol is really important as well, because I'm really proud of you actually for not drinking, because even though a lot of people think that when you have a drink you get a deeper sleep, it actually blocks your REM sleep and it breaks your sleeping pattern. So even though people think that they're getting a good sleep, you still wake up groggy and you still wake up unrefreshed. Having no routine in your sleep is just, it's not good overall, I think. And also having caffeine at night. You are so sensitive to caffeine. Yeah. I've noticed, if you have it after 6 p.m., that's it. You can't sleep. It depends on your body type, because if
also
I have
sugar,
if I have caffeine, I'll still sleep like a baby because I don't know, I'm always sleepy. But you, on the other hand, it really affects you. So yeah, all of those things, I think it affects your bedtime routine.
Yeah, absolutely. And I agree with you completely, because it's like you said, when the REM sleep is disturbed by alcohol, sugar, or whatever. And what that means is that your circadian rhythms are starting to change and starting to get affected by this. And having good sleep, it's like the fundamental basic, one of those fundamental things that you need to implement in your life. You need to have a good night rest, and you should make sure that nothing else would affect that sleep, like sugar, caffeine, alcohol, things like that. Everything we do is interconnected, right? So let's just say you want to get more money in life, right? In your job. So in order for you to get more money in your job, you need to perform well. So you need more energy. In order to have more energy, you need to have more sleep. You need to have more sleep. You get the idea. Everything is interconnected. You need to maintain a good physical health and your mental health. So these are integral part of your daily life. It should be.
Yeah.
So everything is interconnected that way.
Yeah.
What you were saying?
So you're saying that, everything is interconnected. What do you think of, you say that sleep correlates to good energy, but really what is energy?
Your body needs energy to survive, right? So energy to do any work. So your body, essentially every single minute, every second, you need energy in your body, right? So essentially that's the idea. So what is energy for the body? So when you look at energy, the first thing that you might hear is glucose, right? What's glucose? Essentially glucose is sugar, right? So glycogen That's the terminology for it. So that's glycogen is the body's preferred and main source of energy. The second is fat. In order to lose fat, body needs to empty the glycogen first, glucose first. Glucose will take precedence over fat, essentially.
Yeah.
So that's energy. That's energy in your body. So when you drink, you have a cup of tea, or you have maybe you have a chocolate, or you eat a bowl of rice, whatever that may be, it converts into glycogen. And if you don't use up the glycogen, then it will be converted into fat and store it. For most people, the fat usually stored around their belly, right? So you have the love handle and you have the belly area. So that's essentially fat. So for example, when you wake up in the morning, the body's gone through a deep fast. Early in the morning, if you have a coffee with sugar or you eat cereal, what happens is that the first thing in the morning after hours of fasting, you're injecting yourself, or you're eating all this sugary product. As soon as that gets into your body, it hits your bloodstream. When the glucose hits your bloodstream, it rapidly, dramatically increases your blood glucose level. So when the blood glucose level is high, body see this as a potential, obviously an issue. So it releases insulin into your system to push that glucose level down. Let's just say you have a glucose spike and the body responds to it with insulin to push it down. So what happens in that process is that sometimes the body push it way too low, and then the body needs to maintain its right amount of glucose in the bloodstream, is that start craving more sugar. So then you have it again. You have a cup of tea or coffee, whatever, with sugar or food, and then it goes back up, and then the insulin push it back down. So the whole day it goes through this roller coaster of body's glucose level fluctuating it, and the insulin is pushing it down each and every time.
Yeah.
So understanding that and understanding how your body reacts to certain food and maintaining that energy level accurately is one of the key things that you should do if you want to tap into the vast potential that you have in terms of, your body's function, your cognitive function. Everything is dependent on the fact that you have enough rest and you have the right amount of energy. One of the other things is that if you have caffeine, what it does to me, theoretically, is that it tips off my ADD, like ADHD. It's like I don't say I have ADHD, but I do have subtle ADD. So that's like attention deficit disorder, which is essentially my brain is hyperactive. If I consume too much sugar and caffeine, for example, too much sugar is body loves too much sugar, right? It needs all the energy it can get. So when you eat a lot of sugar, your body goes into this. Your body loves it, so it creates dopamine in your neurological system, and dopamine is very addictive to the brain. And more you give dopamine to the brain will seek out that sources of dopamine that you get it from. So essentially, if you want dopamine, so brain knows it wants dopamine, and brain knows that when you eat this specific food, you get dopamine. So your brain start making you crave that particular food. So things like that, it's really important to understand how it works out for your dopamine reaction. And when you have too much dopamine in your system, that tips off things like ADD, ADHD. So these are important things to know. So, but yeah, that's essentially what energy is. So energy is like a glucose or fat. So body uses glucose over fat. So if you want to lose fat, make sure you exercise at a time where your glycogen level is quite low. I also had a question for you, because I knew that, because part of what I actually talked about was something that I got out of some of the things that we talked together, right? So I gleaned a lot of information from you at one point when you went through this whole understanding why you're tired, and you tapped into the glucose level as well. You mentioned a few things that stood out for me. Was you said you knew how to regulate it. So how'd you define, like, how do you regulate glucose in your body?
Well, I'm still finding it really tricky to balance my diet, because obviously I get really tired really quickly. So it's been quite a bit of a passion of mine trying to figure out how to maintain my energy, especially, doing a 9 to 5, and it's just being exhausting, and coming home and just being drained. I really wanted to find this out. And I found out that you can still eat the food that you normally have. You don't need to change your diet, but it's actually changing the order of your meal. So research says that if you have your fiber first, what fiber does is it's like a fiber is like a mesh in your intestine. It kind of stops the glucose going into your bloodstream really quickly. So it acts like kind of like a mesh. So if you have your vegetables first, and then you have your carbs, apparently it affects how much glucose goes into your body at once. It kind of makes it steady. Yeah. I've been trying it out. I've had my vegetables first, and then I've had, my rice or my bread, potatoes after. And I think it has had a little bit of effect in my energy levels throughout the day. This doesn't mean that you need to stop having a little bit of sugar at the end. So essentially, this diet is just changing the order of your food. So your fiber first, then carbs, and then you can have sugar later. And that will apparently stop the glucose spike from happening in your body. There's a variety of things as well. And you know what? I've seen in the media, a lot of people talk about fruit juices and how good they are and how it boosts your energy. Actually, fruit juices are really bad for you.
Yeah, it's full of sugar.
Yeah, it's full of sugar and no fiber. Fruits, like a long time ago, our ancestors had lots of fiber in their fruits where there was loads of seeds. And it almost, if you look at the bananas from 1,000 years ago, the bananas were really they had so many seeds in the bananas and it was really bitter. So we couldn't actually ingest too much banana because it wouldn't really taste that nice and it would be really bitter. So now fruits have been modified for thousands of years. So it's changed. So we don't have much fiber in our fruit. But having whole fruit is fine. It's just when you're having a fruit juice, it eradicates the fiber aspect of it. So you're just having pure sugar.
That's insane. I agree.
Another craze is calories. Everybody's obsessed with calories, but calories only tell you the quality, not the quantity of food. So it really doesn't matter about calories. I mean, you could be eating a bar of chocolate and counting the calories, but it doesn't mean anything because you're eating crap, essentially. They do say that, honey and synthetic sugar have similar glucose spikes. So even if you have an alternative to sugar, having other alternatives can still have the same effect. So that's why they say it's always important to have fiber first. So always have vegetables or some fruits at hand and then have treat after. That's what research shows. And I think it's starting to have a good effect on my body, essentially.
You said something that had quite a correlation to both of these, which were obviously the glucose that we just talked about and having a good sleep. There's one other aspect of it which is detrimental to your overall well-being. And I know that is quite odd, but because when you mentioned it first, I thought, hang on, does that actually make a significant impact in your overall health? Like, what would that be? Tell me. What was that thing? Because it's obviously, you know what I'm talking about, right? Yeah.
Poor dental hygiene. Oh my God. I had no idea that your dental health can really affect your overall health. Yeah. Apparently, poor dental health is correlated to severe issues in your body. It can actually lead to cancer as well. Poor dental health is actually essentially gum disease, right? Yeah. And gum disease, it means that if there's oral bacteria, it goes into your bloodstream. Having gum disease between your teeth, it goes into your bloodstream.
So open wounds can actually absorb bacteria into your bloodstream. That's essentially what you're saying, right?
Yeah.
Who would have thought that's a possibility, though?
Yeah. So flossing is key.
Yeah, and brushing your teeth twice a day, once in the morning, once at night, and after that, obviously regularly. Floss is also a key thing. Who would have thought that had a significant correlation? I never thought that. Flossing is something that I've actually picked up only in the last few years, but it actually has changed my life to a certain degree, because I feel like I can feel that my overall health, not essentially that it had any health, but I feel like there's a significant difference in terms of like there's no odor, or it's like I don't. My
And
breath
also,
doesn't get
yeah,
stink or
your
anything.
breath doesn't stink.
Yeah.
Like when I started to floss, I realized that my breath doesn't stink anymore.
Yeah.
And I was wondering why my breath stunk,
Yeah.
because I would brush my teeth with an electric toothbrush, you know, twice a day for about good 5 to 10 minutes,
Yeah.
you know? And then I thought, why does it still smell?
Yeah.
Turns out I wasn't flossing.
Yeah.
And oral bacteria can actually, if you inhale oral bacteria, it can actually affect your lungs.
Yeah.
And, you know, you and I have both have asthma. So
Yeah.
that doesn't, it can actually lead to respiratory infections in the future.
Yeah.
So everything's connected,
Yeah.
you know?
It's insane.
So it's really important to, you know, have good oral health, not be sleep deprived, overall have a good diet. All of these things really affect like how you are aligned in your body and your mind.
I agree completely. And also, you know, understanding how glucose affects your body and, you know, how you can maintain that, because not a lot of people are aware, especially like we're coming from the Asian culture, and most of the Asian demographic actually carry a DNA which contains obviously type 2 diabetes. That's essentially, it's a problem, right? So understanding how glucose affects your body, understanding how it can completely transform your life, because obviously not a lot of people understand. Like I said, you know, having a cup of tea in the morning, you wouldn't think that's gonna set the tone for the rest of your day. You wouldn't think that, but it does.
It does. Yeah.
If you're feeling like a little bit lethargic by the time like 11, 12 in the afternoon, it could be the case that you had a glucose spike and the insulin has pushed it way too low. It could be the case. So understanding how that works actually can transform your life and transform your daily routine.
The main thing is, you know, to have fiber in your diet, because fiber acts as a barrier to stop glucose from going into your bloodstream really quickly.
Yeah.
So that's really important.
Yeah, it was a good chat. I've been wanting to do this chat for a while, but honestly, sorry that it took a while. I thought it would be valuable to really share this information with others as well, like our podcast family. We're not going to keep you guys waiting for too long. We've got lots of things that's already been planned to talk about. So we will definitely keep you guys updated. And like always, thanks for watching. See you later.
Thanks.
Bye-bye.